What's up, everybody? Welcome into STB Sports Take, simply the best sports podcast. And yes, I am sitting in a rental car right now. I am in California. Did not plan on doing a podcast today. If you watched or listened to the podcast yesterday, you know that. But it's not every day that Dwyane Wade buys a minority ownership stake in the Utah freaking Jazz. So, pulled off to the side of the road. Have to give my initial thoughts. Here I am in beautiful California, by the way. I'm in Corona Del Mar currently, right next to the Corona Del Mar beach. Quite nice. But guys, this is big time news. Dwyane Wade just purchased a minority stake in the Utah Jazz, and I could not be more excited. And so I had to give my initial thoughts. I'm going to dive into a much deeper podcast about this probably on Monday. And actually on Tuesday, I've got Scott Warner coming on the podcast. He is very good friends with Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith, so maybe we'll get some insight there as well. But I had to get my initial thoughts out. So hopefully the sound is good. I'm holding my phone and doing this kind of on the fly. So for YouTube, hope this is okay. But guys, this is big time. This is the type of move that can bring a title to Utah. And I truly believe that. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Utah Jazz fan or I live in Utah, but this is the type of thing that can bring a title to a team because it all starts from the top down. You look at teams that have poor ownership, and it doesn't matter the stars that they sign. It doesn't matter the coaches that they sign. It just doesn't matter. If the ownership sucks and the leadership sucks and there's dysfunction at the top, there's going to be dysfunction the whole way down. And this is a huge move. There's a stigma in Utah that it's not cool, that it's not fun, that stars don't want to come here. Well, now you just got a 3-time champ, a very cool Dwyane Wade, still 39 years old. I get he's not playing, but he's a star. He's cool. He's hip. He can instantly, overnight, change that stigma and make it a place that stars want to come. This is a very big deal. It's going to keep a guy like Donovan Mitchell here. It's going to keep a guy like Rudy Gobert here. It's going to keep stars here where we couldn't typically keep stars before. And on top of that, it's going to help us get more stars want to come. The Jazz are 1 star away from being true title contenders. It's not quite to the level of like a college coach going and recruiting a high school athlete, but imagine you are an NBA star or potential star and you're younger and a 39-year-old hip, cool, 3-time NBA champ Dwyane Wade says, hey man, come play for my team in Utah. Join Donovan Mitchell, an all-star. Join Rudy Gobert, an all-star. Join Quinn Snyder, the likely coach of the year. Join the team with the best record in the NBA that can't quite get over the hump in the playoffs. Come help us win a title. Imagine that sales pitch now coming from Dwyane Wade as opposed to a Ryan Smith or the Miller family that it was before Ryan Smith. This is a huge deal. This is a huge deal. This is the type of move that can truly bring a title to the Utah Jazz within the next 4 seasons. And here's why. The teams that are most competing against the Utah Jazz, they're either going to have a hard time keeping all their star players together, or they're aging, or both in many cases. And so this is the type of thing, I really think the Utah Jazz will win a title within the next 4 years. I really, truly do. The window is now. We've got 2 young studs in Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They're going to stay in Utah now. We're going to bring another piece to the table. We've got Mike Conley. We've got Joe Ingles. We've got Bojan Bogdanovic. We have Jordan Clarkson. We have quality players. We're 1 star away from winning that championship. And the competition is going to start to whittle over the coming seasons because a lot of the stars are starting to age. A lot of the teams are going to have a hard time keeping their stars all together because they've just got too many of them. They can't pay the max to everybody. So this is the type of move. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. It changes the stigma about Utah. And there is a stigma that I think is inaccurate, that Utah's just not cool, right? Utah's totally cool, and Dwyane Wade just showed it. D-Wade is our proof that Utah is cool. Ryan Smith is a wizard. There's also been some stuff about racism in Utah, which to pretend that racism doesn't exist is just stupid and ignorant. Obviously it does. I think Ryan Smith has done wonders to shift that and to change a lot of the culture and to change the narrative and to improve things just all around from that regard. And I think this shows one more step in that direction to get a guy like Dwyane Wade to want to come and be part of the ownership of this team. This is a huge deal. This is a very huge deal. And I'm telling you, as somebody drives by with loud music, this is a very unique podcast, guys. We're sitting in a rental car along the beach with people walking all around me thinking I'm kind of crazy. But again, it's not every day that Dwyane Wade buys part of the team that you love. So Dwyane Wade has some ties to Utah through Stance Socks. He's actually a part owner of Stance Socks, which they're based in San Clemente, which is not too far south of where I am right now. but they have Utah ties. LDS, or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint ties, stance is owned by, or run by, it's not entirely owned, but it's run by, a member of that church, which is obviously the church that dominates the culture and the population in Utah. Ryan Smith is part of that church as well. Not saying that has anything to do with this, but I think that when you've done business with somebody of that regard, because I'm a member of that church, and I have people tell me, hey, you know what? I did business with another guy from your same religion, loved him, trusted him, blah, 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 blah. And it kind of like builds some rapport. I wouldn't be surprised if that played a role in Dwyane Wade's decision to want to work with Ryan Smith, his relationship with Stan Sox. It really would not surprise me at all. So there's a lot going on here. This is really, really big news. It's exciting news for Utah. It just is crazy how one guy can change the image and the culture like instantly. All of a sudden, you get Dwyane Wade attached with the Utah Jazz logo, and all of a sudden it's cool. Like, and to a lot of people, it wasn't cool before. And I think that's going to change a lot of people's minds. I mean, for those of us that are Jazz fans, that live in Utah, whatever, we've always thought it was cool. But this is so big because now a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who, could be coming to the end of a contract and just be thinking, maybe I want to leave for a bigger, cooler market. I think he stays. I think Rudy Gobert stays. And they obviously got extensions, but even beyond those, and maybe it brings in another guy as well. I mean, this is just big, big news for the Utah Jazz. Everyone in Utah should be extremely excited. I think the window is now, though. The window is right now. And I don't mean this season. This season's possible, but the window is now. The window is these next few seasons. While you've got Donovan Mitchell at his peak prime performance, you've got Rudy Gobert at his peak prime performance. The window is now. Go sign one more guy this offseason. Bring in one more stud, and the Jazz win a title. So, feels good to be NBA champs, doesn't it? All right, guys, that's it for today. Very unique podcast. Please subscribe. Whatever platform you're on, please subscribe. YouTube, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you're watching or listening, please subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for putting up with me being in a rental car, using my cell phone to do this podcast. Again, I hadn't planned on doing one today, but I was not going to pass up the opportunity to talk about Dwyane Wade purchasing part of the Utah Jazz. Follow STB Sports Take on TikTok and Instagram. Follow at Sean Bingham on Twitter. Please subscribe. You guys are awesome. I will see you Monday. We'll dive into this more. Peace.
Thanks for hanging with Simply the Best Sports Take. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and check out stbsportstake.com. Simply the best in sports. 'Cause we are